All right, this is going to be a mini lecture on developing a persuasive argument. The first thing that we need to do and to have in our toolbox of knowledge is the definition of an argument, which I've supplied right up here at the top. An argument is a stated position with support for or against an idea or issue. So it's a stated position with support for or against an idea or issue. This will be a fill in the blank on your exam, on your final exam. All right, persuasive speeches use arguments to present that one choice is superior to all the other choices. But there's a structure to an argument, and there's 3 elements to your argument. Make sure that you know this, because this will be a fill in the blank. It will ask you what are the 3 elements to an argument. And number 1 is the claim. Number 2 is the evidence. And number 3 is the warrant. All right, we're going to start with the claim first and talk about the different types of claims, then move down to discuss evidence and also your warrant. All right. So a claim is the speaker's conclusion based upon the evidence. You may not be familiar with the word claim as it relates to speaking or persuasive arguments, but another name for a claim could be a thesis. So we're all familiar with the thesis. So throughout this whole entire semester, what you've been doing is you've been making a claim this whole entire time, but actually developing a thesis for each of your speeches. Now, there's 3 types of claims. This is on page 256 in your textbook, okay? So, we have a claim of fact, okay? This makes a claim that something is or is not true. For example, my name is Jennifer. Bluebell is a brand of ice cream. Abortion eliminates an entity from a woman's uterus. All right, so these are considered claim of facts or statement of facts. And I'm making a claim that something is or is not true. And claims of facts are easy to prove and disprove, is that by supplying evidence, we could actually support these particular claims or dismantle them. Just like the example of my name is Jennifer, I could bring one easy document to prove that to be true, which would be my birth certificate. Or even proving that Bluebell is a company that makes ice cream, I could use their information on the New York Stock Exchange of what type of commodity company that they are. Abortion eliminates an entity from a woman's uterus, is that we could use medical proof that prior to an abortion something is in the uterus, then after the abortion that it is gone or eliminated. Now, another type of claim is a claim of value. This makes a claim that something is right or wrong, good or bad, worthwhile or worthless. All right, now here with the value, what you have to do when you're assessing, when somebody's using a value claim, is assessing what type of criteria did they use to come up with this particular value judgment. And if you can kind of think in that capacity, is that there's a chance that you could dismantle their argument if that criteria is super shaky. For example, let's go back, is Jennifer is the best name on the planet, okay? Bluebell ice cream is the worst brand of ice cream. Abortion is immoral and totally wrong. So if you compare those to the first ones, which were the claim of fact, they're stylistically different because I'm placing a value judgment in my argument. And you can, if you're a listener, you can break apart these particular type of value claims depending upon what type of criteria they use to develop that value. All right, so let's just look at the one that Jennifer is the best name in the whole entire world. All right, so my only evidence for proof that it is the best is because my name is Jennifer. So as a critical thinker, you could easily dismantle that argument because the only criteria that I'm using to come up with the value of best is just because my name is Jennifer. All right, so a policy claim is a claim that you make that an action should take place or should not. Okay? All right, that an action should take place or should not. Now, here's the deal. We're not doing a policy presentation. That's the one that would be the last speech. And in a policy presentation, you are going to make a particular claim that a certain law should be in place or should not. All right. For example, what if I use my example of Jennifer? So the United States federal government should name everyone in the United States Jennifer. Another policy claim is that the United States federal government should not allow Bluebell ice cream to be sold in the United States. The United States government should make abortion illegal in all 50 states. And you can see that policy claims are totally different than the claims of fact and claim of value, because you're making a particular claim that an action should take place or should not take place. Now, as a critical thinker, is that when you're evaluating policy claims, what happens is that you are going to be assessing them on the need. Okay? You assess a policy claim based on the need, the plan, and the practicality of the plan. Okay? So when you're evaluating policy claims, if an action should or should not take place, you're actually assessing them. Is it necessary for this change to happen? Or is it necessary for this particular law to be in place or stay in place? But also, just because you want a particular law to be in place, what is the plan? Okay? If this law is trying to solve a problem, does the plan, in essence, actually solve the problem? Or could it create more problems? Just like me making the claim that everyone in the United States be named Jennifer. Well, I have the burden of proof to prove that since everybody's name is different, that would be a total problem, and by naming everybody Jennifer, then it would make everything easier, which I would totally fail in that argument because there's no evidence to prove that to be true, and actually I couldn't come up with a legitimate plan to make that happen without causing more problems. But also, look at the practicality of the plan. Is the plan practical enough to actually solve the problem that was stated in the beginning? Make sure you know how to analyze a policy claim. This may be a fill in the blank, and it may ask you, what is one way that you need to analyze a policy claim? And you could either put, I need to analyze the need, the plan, or the practicality of the plan. The number 2 element in an argument is evidence, okay? The evidence is what you use to support the claim. It's all the information that you've collected from your research, whether it's peer testimony, expert testimony, statistical evidence, examples, brief, extended, etc. It's everything you're using to provide the proof that your conclusion is true, okay? All right. Thirdly is the warrant. The warrant is the reason why the claim and evidence go together. And this is one of the key components in an argument. You can have a conclusion, you can present evidence, but here's the deal. If you can't prove that they actually go together, then that's a hole in your argument, and somebody else could actually rip it to shreds. All right, so for example, if I was trying to continue to promote a particular policy that's in place now, which is the seatbelt law in the state of Mississippi. So I make a conclusion, which is my claim that the United States federal government should continue to enforce the seatbelt law while driving in all 50 states. Then I use evidence as proof that maybe through the National Traffic Highway Safety Commission is that there is proof that when you're riding in a car, if you're not belted and you get in any type of car accident, the injuries that you sustained are actually are more dangerous and horrible than if you were to wear a seatbelt. All right, so I have all of that, but what I have to do as a speaker, I have to glue it all together and trace out my reasoning why the claim and evidence go together. All right, so that was a short lecture on developing a persuasive